I'm Sean McCutcheon, and welcome to my channel. I'm the author of the book Coming Together, which is about how we can come together and fix a lot of the political and social issues that we're facing, right? Helps to understand a lot of the different perspectives of a lot of the issues that we have, as well as providing ideas and a roadmap forward so that we can fix them, right? However, that's not what this channel is going to be about. This channel is going to be about a lot of some of the same issues that I talk about in there, but how we can understand them and how we can help talk to other people about them, right? So if you have questions about a subject and you want to learn more, hopefully this will be a good place to get you started on that journey, right? If you know someone who could have a lot of benefits from watching a video like this to maybe help tone down some rhetoric, to maybe help them get some empathy, then send it to them. Hopefully, this will help start to get through to them. And there we go, right? So today's video is going to be about biological sex, right? Now, generally in the common vernacular, sex and gender are used interchangeably, right? I do it myself sometimes. My wife is a nurse. She does it sometimes. But for the purpose of this video, we are going to very specifically only be talking about biological sex. So genetics, and then of course the way your body develops, right? The next video will be discussing gender. So gender is more the way you identify, how you present yourself, those types of things, right? Part of the reason we're doing this whole series, there's actually a third surprise one at the very end there, um, is because these concepts of sex and gender have been used a lot recently to have been very willfully misunderstood, very willfully misinterpreted in the media and by a lot of politicians in order to demonize and to hurt people, right? And that's not a good thing, right? We should be looking out for each other. We should be looking out for our fellow Americans. We should be looking out for, well, if you're in another country, we should just be looking out for each other, right? And not trying to demonize people, not trying to shove them into boxes in which they don't belong, right? So let's get started on biological sex, right? So first and foremost, with the concept of genetics, right? When you look at it, a lot of the time, I'm going to keep playing with these, by the way, because they keep wanting to pop out. A lot of the time, you will have people wanting to say that the XX genes are the only thing that can get you a woman, right? And the XY genes are the only things that can get you a man, right? Well, and those are the only two combinations, right? There's only this that only does this, and there's only this that only does this, right? The problem with that is that there's not only those two options, right? On the title card, I had a lot of combinations of X's and Y's, right? A whole bunch of X's sometimes, a whole bunch of Y's sometimes, lots of different combinations of the two, right? And those are all actual possibilities for our genetic code, right? A lot of people have a lot of those different variations, right? We are not solely bound to having one of two options. There are numerous options that are presented that we can possibly have, right? And to add another twist on it, none of those possibilities are a guarantee that you will end up a man or a woman, right? Based on which coding in your genetics, which coding gets activated when during your developmental cycle, that determines how your body develops, right? So that will determine if you're a man or if you're a woman or if you're intersex, right? Intersex is anything in between, right? Any combination therein, right? Now, I'm old, right? So I'm familiar with the term hermaphrodite, right? And back in the Roman days, right? There was even a Greek god, Hermaphrodite, right? Not Aphrodite, which the first time I went to a museum and saw Hermaphrodite, there was a slight confusion at first. Let's just say that, right? um, so we've known about the fact that there is not just a binary for a long time. Thousands of years, we have known that there is not just a binary, right? In fact, the combinations between man and woman, right, just biologically with your body, right, they found up to like over 30 different types, 30 different ways in which you can combine those that they have seen that people exist as, right? Like, for example, there are women, right? You look at them, they're a woman, right? They have all the other body parts except where the ovaries should be are testes, right? So instead of one, reproductive part being produced, another is being produced, right? This does happen, right? And it doesn't just happen like once in a billion, right? This happens fairly frequently, right? This isn't, you know, so we need to understand that when it comes to either your genetic makeup or how those genes express themselves when they make you, right? That there are far more combinations than just two, right? That isn't even, two. Even children understand that, right? It's not really a hard concept, right, to understand that there are more than two. When kids start counting, they count higher than two, right? Uh, so let's see. The reason, again, I want to kind of hammer home on this, that this is so important is because there has been so much legislature, so much hateful rhetoric that is going around that is being used to talk about this subject without any nuanced understanding, without any compassion, right? And this ends up getting people hurt and killed, right? So instead of learning about each other, instead of working towards what we can do to help one another, people are getting hurt based on language from fanatics that want to make sure that we are, you know, jammed into a box, right? So, what can you do? That is something that I like to do. I wrote my book because I didn't, all the books I read were great at identifying problems, but never presented me with a solution. So I don't like presenting you with a problem and then good luck, Uh, what can you do? Um, a, like I said at the beginning, you can either use this as a jumping off point for you to learn more, right? For you to learn more about, what can be done, right? For you to maybe engage in more conversations in which, you hear this rhetoric going around that there's only this and this is all that was ever done. But no, not that way, right? Uh, you can understand that when people are trying to lump us into one of two boxes, that they probably have an agenda, right? And not a good agenda, right? They probably have an agenda where they're trying to hurt people and gain power for themselves, right? And this would be good for you to kind of understand, right? And lastly, if you can think of someone that maybe does use this rhetoric, right, and send it to them, so hopefully they learn, right? Hopefully they can, you know, use this as a leaping off point to maybe understand and maybe start to empathize with people that maybe Maybe they are one of these, you know, maybe they have some of these genetic variations and they don't even know it, right? Because how would you know? I don't know. I look like a man. I've always identified as a man. I've got all the parts. Never had a genetic test. Why would I? Why do most people, right? So giving it to someone who can hopefully tune down their rhetoric, maybe learn something, maybe empathize. If you've been using this rhetoric, learn better, do better, right? Uh, Make amends, right? It's not too late, right? If you guys have any questions, any comments, anything further you want to explore, let me know. Again, the next one in the series is going to be on gender. The last one, I know I said it'd be a surprise, but it's going to be on trans, right? Because a lot of hate has been directed at that community and it needs to stop, frankly, right? Okay, well, that's it. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a good one.